This is the story. We'll try to squeeze one more in today. This is the story of St. Plato, not that Plato. Why does it look like I have something as a shade? It looks like I have dirt on my head. Anyway, Plato's wealthy parents died of disease before he was 13. He was raised and educated by an uncle who was a treasurer. Plato soon handled much of the uncle's business. He was an excellent student. Pious from his youth, he turned away from the world of the royal court. He freed his slaves, sold his estate, gave the money to his sisters and the poor. What is that? And at age 24, he moved to the monastery on Mount Olympus. Though he never took holy orders and remained a layman, he spent his days in prayer, menial labor, and copying holy books. He was an abbot in 770. He was given to severe fasts and self-deprivation. In 775, Plato made a journey to Constantinople on business and managed to inspire many of the citizens of all stations to better, more pious lives. The Patriarch Paul tried to make him the bishop of Nicomedia, but Plato retreated to his monastery. His sister, Theoctista, his entire family embraced a religious state, founded a monastery near Constantinople, and prevailed upon Plato to direct it in 782. In 794, he turned it over to his nephew, the future Saint Theodorus. The Emperor Constantine repudiated his empress Mary and married Theodota, not Theodorus, obviously, who was a man, a relative of Plato. Plato and Theodorus published a sentence of excommunication against him, Emperor Constantine. Joseph, the treasurer of the church, and several other mercenary priests and monks tried to convince Plato to approve the emperor's divorce, but he refused, scolded the emperor to his face, and was imprisoned until Constantine's death in 797. So I think that's approximately at max 3 years he was imprisoned. In the face of the Saracen invasion, that's basically, at this point, that's the Muslims. Once 600 comes, 650 comes or so, anything when it says Saracen is pretty much the Muslims. In the face of Saracen invasions, the monks of Sacudian abandoned their settlement for Studius, where Plato vowed obedience to his nephew Theodorus and lived as a recluse in a narrow cell in perpetual prayer and manual labor, 1 foot fastened to the ground with a heavy iron chain, which he hid with his cloak when anyone came to see him. So that sounds to me like that thing where you don't, where you shave and keep yourself clean when you're fasting. You don't let everybody see what your left hand is doing to your right hand. You know what I mean. In 807, Joseph, the priest who had presided at the wedding of Constantine and Theodote, was restored to his position and made treasurer of the church by order of Emperor Nicephorus. Plato considered this scandalous and loudly condemned it. The emperor had him guarded for a year by a troop of insolent soldiers and false monks, after which Plato was unjustly condemned by a council of court bishops, then banished to be conducted from place to place in the Isles of Bosphorus for 4 years, until freed in 811 by the new emperor Michael I. Plato then returned to his cell and his life of prayer. In 813, Plato saw that his end was near, directed his grave be dug, had himself carried to it, lived laying in it, spending his last days in prayer and receiving guests from his grave, including his former enemy, the priest Joseph, who had come to ask for Plato's prayers. Wow. So I don't know what this part back here. The emperor had him guarded by a troop of insolent soldiers. So undisciplined soldiers, I guess, and fake monks to try to find something wrong with him that he could be condemned for. And it conducted, I should have looked up what conducted means from place to place. I think it means they paraded around from place to place on the Isle of Bosphorus. I'm wondering if Bosphorus, if that's like a, I don't know why I want to think that's phosphorus and what's that word? Uh, Something that smells. Oh man, I forget. Anyway, should look that up first. Um, Bosphorus. I wonder if it had some kind of minerals that made it smell of. What am I thinking of? Not phosphorus. It's another word. It's not odorous. Like sulfur. I think, I don't know why. I think Bosphorus, the isle, had sulfur mines in it. I don't know why. I'm going to look that up. Anyway, so then priest Joseph asked for his prayers. So let's ask St. Plato, born in 734 and died in 813 of natural causes. So he lived a pretty long life. To pray for us, all the saints pray for us. The martyrs of Hadia pray for us. And St. Isidore of Seville pray for us. Please pray for the souls in purgatory. Oh, that's quite a story. St. Plato lived quite a life. And no, not that Plato.